Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here and talk about this story, and it's another case of a white supremacist calling the police on a black person. And listen, this is my thing because this is getting redundant. And whenever situations start getting redundant and repetitive, and the response from black people is the same, I get real irritated. And I get that everybody worldwide isn't watching my videos. I get that. I get that every black person worldwide isn't on YouTube. And I also do understand that every black person worldwide doesn't know how to deal with situations like this. But what I also do know is that if the mentality of the black masses doesn't change and doesn't change quickly, black people are going to be in perpetual bottom class citizens, and they're always going to be the ones who are going to be picked apart, bullied, harassed, and done everything, because every other group of people is setting a precedence that they won't be harassed, they won't be bullied, they won't be disenfranchised, except black people. There's a reason. Again, there is a reason why you don't see these situations happening to anybody else but black people, really. And I don't believe it's just because they want to perpetuate a race war. I believe it's because black people don't do anything to counteract this or circumvent it. And, we can black people can sit up on YouTube and they can regurgitate things and call, these people cavelings. They can talk about how they burn in the sun, all this, that, and the third. But what are you actually prepared and willing to do when it comes down to a situation like this scenario right here, or any of the scenarios? Because a lot of these situations, all I'm seeing is black passivity and emboldened white supremacists. And I'm seeing time after time after time black people failing to respond appropriately. And that's because they know, and I know, that subconsciously you've elevated these people to a level of God. Black people have a high level of reverence and tolerance for these white supremacists that they don't extend to their own people. And black people are simply afraid to respond to these people the way that they should, because they think fighting back simply means picking up something and hitting somebody or squaring up or something like that. And that's not the case. Like, I deal with white supremacists on a daily basis. I deal with them effectively. I stand firmly on my ground, and I establish boundaries and guidelines and rules. And I never once have to curse. I never once have to really elevate my voice. And I definitely don't have to get physical with them. All I simply do is assert myself, and I don't have the mindset that somehow these people are better than me. I don't have the mindset that somehow I have to bow to them. I don't even feel like I have to respect them on a basic level. I will respect them if they show me respect, but that's going to be the only way that's going to happen. I'm not going to sit up here and allow you to terrorize me and say stuff to me and do stuff to me that I don't like, and then you just get away with it. That's not going to happen. And that's what's happening, because you have black people on all levels, regardless to their professional or regardless to their profession, doing normal everyday things and being harassed by these white supremacists, and black people's only response is relegated to hashtags and childish banter on social media that does absolutely nothing. So in this scenario, it says Oakland residents call police on uniformed black firefighter conducting yard inspections. Did y'all notice how this is like the fourth or fifth scenario coming out of Oakland in general? Because you had that woman at the barbecue, Becky. You had what they're calling Permit Patty. Well, that was in San Francisco, but whatever, still in the same area. Then you had this scenario, and there was another scenario too. I can't quite put my finger on it, but do y'all notice how these situations keep coming out of Oakland? And now I've heard something about California people. Number one, and I don't like to disparage California people. I'm from California, okay? That is where my family is from. I just went back and visited family in LA soon. I do want to make note that notice how this isn't happening in LA though. Because I think the confrontational vibe in LA is a little bit too strong. But Stephon Clark was in Sacramento. But notice how you keep seeing a lot of these scenarios coming out of Oakland. Now, Oakland is in the state of California. California isn't a Republican state. Actually, it's supposed to be a very diverse state where the minority is actually white people, where it's supposed to be very liberal and progressive, and yet every single day now we're seeing some kind of situation coming out of California, more specifically Oakland. But because you have a bunch of swirling, plantation-minded Black people there, this is probably why you're having this. So it doesn't matter whether you're in the South, whether you're in the West, whether you're in the Northwest, whether you're in the East. It doesn't, whether you're in the Midwest. It doesn't matter, because globally, even out of the States, Black people have a very passive mentality. They know it. I know it. As soon as you guys admit to it to yourself and get some self-respect and dignity and a desire to not allow people to disrespect you, these things will continue to happen. We are not powerless. There are things that we absolutely can do to fight back that doesn't involve physically fighting or picking up a gun. We're simply choosing to not do it. Now it says a uniformed Black firefighter was reported to the police by alarmed residents as he conducted city mandated inspections near homes in Oakland. Now, look, I know that these white supremacists have a tendency to be remedial, but they're not that remedial that they don't know how to recognize a Black man in a firefighter uniform. Kevin Moore was carrying a radio and a clipboard as he conducted yearly vegetation inspections when a neighbor called police to report him as suspicious, reported the San Francisco Chronicle. Now, why is this man not suing her for racial, whoever this person is, why is this man not suing them for racial discrimination and profiling? His colleague, Megan Bryan, was also serving May 16th when she got a call from a 911 dispatch asking whether firefighters were doing the checks, and she knew why the caller was alarmed, which angered her. I knew he was the one on that street, Bryan said, pointing out that white firefighters were never reported as suspicious. Another resident emailed home security footage early that day to a community liaison officer, who then forwarded the footage to the fire department officials who oversee the inspection. It's obvious he's doing an inspection, said Vince Crudell of Oakland Fire Department. Kevin's wearing his blue wool firefighter pants. He's got a radio and a department jacket and shirt on. It's unfortunate that someone would make a mistake and would mistake an Oakland firefighter, a professional who would go into harm's way every day to protect citizens, as someone who was there for criminal intent, he said. That's not who they mistook him for. They mistook him for a Black man, and therefore Black men, two white people are a threat. That's just the reality of it. But you're not going to have an Oakland fighter spokesperson really say that. But my problem is, this dude can get those police reports and he can sue both of those people. He's a government official. Why is he not doing that? Because you work for the city when you work for the fire department. So why is he not using that level of status to do something to put an example on all of the white people in that neighborhood? You file a lawsuit on both of them, I bet you they won't be calling the police on anybody else. Crudell said the residents pointed to Moore's athletic shoes as evidence he might have been an imposter, but he said it's common and acceptable for a firefighter to wear sneakers during those inspections. See, why is he even, oh, they said Crudell was doing that, okay. I try to put myself in other people's shoes, Moore said, like if I see someone in my yard, I'd ask what they're doing. That's why I always call out, hello, Oakland Fire Department. Again, look, he's catering. This is what I'm saying is problematic to Black people. He is catering to their racism. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. You don't get to just call the police on somebody just because you feel like they're a threat. That's just a reality. Or just because you feel like they're suspicious and their suspicion is the type of shoes that they're wearing. But that's why I say Black people's response to this is very problematic, because you can best believe that this dude isn't going to do anything to those people for racially profiling, and he's not going to. But let's continue, because I want to be heard. I just don't want somebody to look out their window and see somebody in their backyard. I'm not trying to be incognito. Moore said he had knocked on the door and announced himself as a firefighter before stepping into the yard, which had no gate, and noting possible vegetation hazards in his paperwork. He turned around to find the resident recording video of him as he finished up. he kind of startled me more. He says, well, what are you doing here? I say, we're here doing our annual vegetation inspection. See, the whole way that this is about to irk me. This is really about to piss me off, because now it's like, what do you mean? You see, catering, this is how Black people condone and help to maintain white supremacy, right here. Right here. We're here doing our annual vegetation inspection. Then he asks for ID. I say no problem. He takes a picture of my ID and says I need to get a different one. I've had that ID for years. I'm kind of dark and I'm more of a dark-skinned Black guy, but you can still see me. I'm so done. Like, I'm seriously so done. This is why I say Black people are the problem. Y'all tell me this man ain't I'm not showing you anything. I'm not showing you an ID. I'm not showing you a piece of paper. I'm not showing you the clipboard or the pen that I already have in my hand. Get out of my face. Why are you talking to me? And had this man asserted himself and then said, look, dude, I will see you in court. You give me your ID and your name. Why are you here? But instead, he complies and gets, this is why I say plantation mind. It's slave-minded people who believe all these white people are their overseers. That's why he's responding. I wish you would ask me for my ID. Moore told the suspicious resident to look across the street at the big red fire engine parked across the street, and the resident eventually stopped questioning him about his identity and started making excuses for his vegetation problems. Really? These are the so-called men in our community who have a tendency to be more passive towards white supremacy than the women do. That's just a reality, though they're just facts. And the reason we know that though they're just facts, because we've seen time after time where you have a Black man like the one in Spain getting bussed over the head by a white woman. You have an old white woman stepping into a Black man's car to check him. And now you have a white person, each one of them being completely passive, not exerting themselves at all. Nobody asks you to punch them in the face. Nobody asks you to run them over with the car, which I probably would be doing if she got in my car. But how is this asserting yourself? This isn't asserting yourself. This is being passive. And even with this uniform on, if that Black man would have did the same thing to the white man, do you really think that he would have responded the same? No, he wouldn't have. Brian says she will pair up with Moore during future yard inspections because she's worried about his safety. So now he needs this white woman to protect him because he's too passive and weak to assert himself. But she said it shouldn't be a Black person's responsibility to soothe the fears of racist white people. Exactly. And that's what he's doing. He's over here, so he's catering to their racism. You cannot cater to people's racism and then expect it to go away. Bottom line is, I don't care if you're uncomfortable. I really don't. That's not my problem. That is your problem. And maybe you need to go seek some psychiatric help. Maybe you need to go get in a cave. Maybe you need to drown yourself in sunscreen. None of those are my problems. Your problem is your problem. Why are you talking to me? But here she goes. She said, it's our work to do with other white people, to check our implicit biases and racism, she said. It's not fair to him, and it's actually not safe to him to be going into these backyards due to the socio-political climate. Notice, this doesn't make any, this is why I'm saying there's some neurons are not firing. Neurons are not firing in Black people's minds. It doesn't make sense. The only rational explanation is that you see them as God. And I don't know why, because in what reality would God have to bathe in sunscreen to not burn in the sun? But as passive as this Black man was, he is the problem. His passivity is the problem. It's not even so much their racism that's the issue, it's his response to it. Because he's not responding appropriately. He is soothing, just like she said. He's making them feel comfortable being racist. He's catering to their racist attitudes, like many Black people do, and that needs to stop. It needs to stop, and if you don't stop it, nobody else will. Black people want to sit out here and throw out Black Lives Matter. You want to ask for respect. You want to think somebody's going to come to your aid, but you don't show that Black Lives Matter. You don't respect yourself and you allow other people to disrespect you, and you don't make your needs a priority. You're running around talking about immigrants and Me Too movements and intersectionality and feminism while everybody else is discriminating against you based solely on the fact that you're Black, disrespecting you openly, being rude and aggressive towards you, and you respond with passivity and niceties. That is a problem. That's a problem. And the problem is that you only have a select few Black people. The only ones that I really know is me, my sister, Cheryl. I think Rob said he responds differently. Those are 4 Black people out of millions in this country. And yet you got a bunch of because just by virtue of you having a bunch of emboldened white supremacists, that means Black people are dropping the ball. Like I said, it doesn't matter what law you have. It doesn't matter what president you have. It doesn't matter who gives them the green light to be racist. If they think you are going to give them a consequence for them being racist, guess what? They're not going to be racist towards you. Because they're going to know my racism doesn't come without a consequence. Yes, Donald Trump said we can make America great again and be openly racist. But if I go be racist to that person, Black person, what are they going to do to me in response? That's how they should be having this thing, but they don't. All they have to do is say, oh, okay, I can be racist toward that Black person, and I can guarantee 9.5 times out of 10 that I'm going to get passivity. And every single time, regardless to who that person is, they're getting passivity. And this is why these things continue to happen. And until we change how we respond to it, they're going to continue to. But I bet you they won't be coming at me like that. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.